Good morning, everybody. We'll start as we always do with questions that have been submitted by you guys. Go to cottoncuts.com/live to submit a question for our show for next week. Okay, our second question today comes to us from David M. from Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you so much for your question, David. David says, how important is it for quilters to understand the historical context of the patterns they are using? Okay, so David, I love this question because I'm about to show you quilts from the Moda archive that are 150 and 200 years old. And so I think an importance is an interesting phrase, choice of words there, because I think learning about quilt history and learning about the origins of the blocks we make and knowing that this quilt, has been, this was a replicated for Piazza. We brought back a block that hasn't been made since the 1920s and we recreated it and recolorized it. And I feel like that's cool. I'm a history nerd. I like learning about more than just the artwork that I'm creating, but I don't necessarily know if it's like the top of the ultimate. Like, I feel like I have to make this quilt because it was made as a communication tool during the Underground Railroad. And there are people that do that to honor those histories, but I don't feel like every time I make a flying geese, I need to reflect on that and live that the flying geese block was created as a communication tool for the Underground Railroad. I also don't feel like, the log cabin block is an homage to when homes were made with logs and they were built a certain way. I feel like those are things that enrich the experience for me, but don't necessarily define the experience. I'm going to say that again. Enrich the experience, but don't define the experience. Sometimes you just want to make and quilt and have fun and not necessarily need to know all of the, passed down from generations to generations and came through and all the good things. If that's your jam and you really want to be a quilt historian, then that is fantastic and great. But I don't necessarily know if we have to necessarily do that as modern quilters. Again, enriching the experience, not defining the experience. All right.